I have no say in it, Gibbs. It's a pirate's life for me. Savvy?
We've got a tale for you. One that involves pirates, the Caribbean, and a whole lot of danger. Movies like Pirates of the Caribbean are full of high-action stunts and fight scenes that look lethal. Well, the filming of some of these scenes were dangerous and led to plenty of on-set cast injuries and even ended the career of some stunt doubles. Other times, the most unexpected scenes are the ones that landed actors like Johnny Depp in the hospital. In this video, we'll be showing you what Pirates of the Caribbean scenes were treacherous to film. The Pirates of the Caribbean production found themselves tangled up in legal trouble when one scene went wrong while filming Dead Man's Chest. Remember this epic Captain Jack scene? Well, this was the last scene Johnny Depp's stunt double Tony Angelotti filmed before his career ended. He was tasked with being dropped from a crane where he would perform the rope unraveling we see in the final cut. But it didn't go as planned and he ended up in intensive care. I had the 5 wraps around my waist. I spun so uncontrollably fast that the centrifugal force actually ripped my pelvis apart. Ouch. The worst part is, they couldn't get it perfected at half height, but still moved on to the 80-foot drop. In the same film, Orlando Bloom's stunt double Zach Hudson said that this mill wheel fight was one of the most dangerous and difficult stunts he filmed for Pirates.
Many days doing crazy fights going up and down.
The wheel fight, I had not rehearsed or had time to prep for it. I had to do all the wire work involved on top of the wheel and the whole fight scene. To top it all off, Jack Davenport said it was 100 degrees while filming the scenes and that he was continuously fainting the entire time. He called the whole experience intense. A moving wheel, swords, and 100-degree weather seems like a potential recipe for disaster.
Oh! The heat!
Johnny Depp even had some struggles with the mill wheel, ones that left him unable to walk properly for quite some time. He may not have had any trouble walking on the mill wheel, but he had to get strapped onto the contraption.
It was just exhausting, man. It was days and days and days of that.
Not only were the straps too tight, but he was in that position for so long that it caused nerve damage in his feet. I lost feeling in the upper half of my left foot for about 4 or 5 months. Like the professional he is, he persevered and continued filming. We all remember the iconic ending to Curse of the Black Pearl, where Jack Sparrow ends up behind the wheel of the Black Pearl. Well, that sequence was filmed in entirely one take, which, according to stunt person Tony, made things very complicated. That took months of rehearsal. It was a ratchet of me flying out of the water probably like 35 to 40 feet in the air, and then another ratchet pulling me into the boat and a deaccelerator landing me onto the deck of the ship. They managed to get the shot without injury, but Tony admitted that things could have gone wrong in that setup. Pirates of the Caribbean isn't the type of movie where they use fake weapons. They were wielding full-on metal weapons. As you can imagine, things got quite intense.
2 types of swords, principally the shorts and what are called small swords.
Jack Davenport called those scenes learning an exhausting and slightly dangerous dance. To make sure things went as smoothly as possible, all the actors had to undergo training with knives, swords, and explosives. What could go wrong? There was one very specific sword fight during the Blacksmith's forge scene that resulted in an injury and a very angry Johnny Depp. Orlando Bloom and Tony Angelotti had been filming the scene and said, "The fights, they'll get really intense and fast." Orlando, I think, got lost at one point and went to another direction, and I ducked back and the tip of his blade caught right near my eyebrow. Johnny was supposedly extremely angry and made sure they got the medical team to check Tony before continuing. We can watch Jack Sparrow steal the Interceptor on repeat. However, the scene actually turned pretty dangerous for Johnny and even resulted in an accident. In the DVD commentary, they revealed that while filming, the ropes on the ship didn't break at first, which caused debris to crash into Johnny's knee. If you pay attention to the actual scene, you can see it happens. However, it just looks like Johnny ducks. Johnny got lucky with this one and didn't end up with any serious injuries, but it's still frightening to realize how things can go wrong in just a split second. Ironically, while filming, the cast and crew got into a real-life boating accident. Keira Knightley, who was on the night shoot with her mom, was the one who experienced it firsthand. To make it even worse, Keira Knightley was still a minor at the time, just 17. Their ship hit a reef in the middle of the ocean. Thankfully, they were able to return safely to land, but from then on, they switched all the ship scenes to in studio. Johnny Depp has been praised multiple times for how involved he gets in production.
It's interesting to be, put up against an obstacle like that. You know, it's a nice challenge.
Well, in on Stranger Tides, he may have gotten a little too involved. He overworked himself with his stunts so much that it resulted in injury. I ended up with this bad sciatic situation. It was this horrible grinding electricity going through me. Just like with his previous injury, he powered through the rest of the film. Pirates always warn about getting into a fight with a Kraken, and we think we found out why. Stuntman Zach Hudson said during this scene, he had to make a 400-foot drop, and it's a moment he'll remember for the rest of his life. He broke down just what he had to do for the scene. I'm on top of the sail mast about 150 feet up in the air as it's breaking. I jump with a single safety wire into the sail across the way. It ended up being about a 400-foot drop and jump across. At least he had a safety belt. Orlando Bloom remembers filming the ball cage scene in Dead Man's Chest as one of the wildest experiences. Just one look at the behind-the-scenes footage and you can see why.
The bone cage sequence was crazy.
Orlando did the stunt himself, and the height they were dropped from was definitely cause for concern. The end result was pretty epic though. Stunt people have admitted that high-altitude jumps are usually some of the most dangerous stunts, but for this specific waterfall jump, the height wasn't all they had to worry about. Christopher Lepps, Johnny's stunt person on this film, said he had to navigate the jump so he didn't hit any rocks you can actually see peeking over the top of the water in the final cut. It was about a 45-foot jump, and I had to clear like 15 feet of rocks. To be fair, they tried to be as safe as possible. They'd been filming in Hawaii at the time and just couldn't find any water that wasn't rocky. Kaya Scodelario's experience on Salazar's revenge was a dream come true. Except for the part where she ended up in a sling for a couple of weeks. The weather made filming on Black Pearl very dangerous, and Kaya took a tumble on deck, dislocating her shoulder. She was so worried about holding up production, she said, "I went to the hospital quickly, had some morphine, and was back on set." That's called dedication. Sometimes on set, it's the crew that are putting themselves at risk. Destroying the Endeavour wasn't just done with VFX. The crew actually destroyed a built ship in studio with pyrotechnics. While they're controlled and handled by professionals, there are still risks. The camera operators were protected under fire-resistant blankets and wore earplugs just in case. Other times, it's not humans at all that are at risk. Filming on Pirates of the Caribbean actually got quite dangerous for the animals and wildlife that were nearby. Their explosives used in the water were used at the cost of diminishing the ocean life. There were reports of sea life washing up on shore for weeks after filming. The production even received strongly worded calls to take accountability from organizations like PETA. It wouldn't be an over-exaggeration to say that Hollywood puts their cast and crew at risk almost every week. Who knew a little rain on deck could lead to a dislocated shoulder? While hearing about the dangers is scary, thanks to safety protocols, they've managed to keep #SetLife pretty safe. What scene do you think wins for being the most dangerous to film?